Good morning, everyone. This is Nathan Klug, and we have two phenomenal guests on from Praxis. I'm from Praxis ACG, and this is our bi-weekly agent-facing webinar series, providing resources, tools, technologies, ideas, and concepts to help you grow your practice. And for this week, there's actually a couple people that a little bit more than a couple that are in our organization that actually has worked and gotten their certification for Social Security from the classes that these gentlemen provide. But I'm really excited to have them on. We actually met about a month and a half ago, Mark, through LinkedIn, and we ran a campaign, and Mark responded back to it, and we got to talking about what they're doing. And we actually have some people that have already taken classes. So that's exciting that we have a resource that people are using that we didn't even talk about. So wanted to bring them on and introduce them formally to those that are looking to learn more about Social Security, especially from the agent standpoint, and being able to help more clients, because it is an ever-changing environment. And being able to be knowledgeable within the space of Social Security is something that increases your expertise, it makes you look really good, and it also allows you to be able to get more clients if you do it the right way, which is literally the question that every single agent advisor asks us is, Nathan, Praxis, how can you get us in front of more qualified prospects? So with that said, I am not going to be doing a lot of talking. Before I introduce Mark and Jim, just one housekeeping is, as always, everyone's on mute. So if you do have questions, there is a Q&A bar down at the bottom. Just hit that button. We'll have some room for questions at the end. And if you're listening to the recording, like I said, keep an eye on the questions. We'll make sure that we address them either throughout the conversation or at the end. And if there's anything outside of the questions that have not been asked, you can contact us directly as well, and we'll make sure we field them. But without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Mark Kiner and Jim Blair. It's an honor to have both of them on. And like I said, our topic today is Social Security, and very specifically, and I'm not going to steal too much of your thunder, gentlemen, is they actually have a Social Security certification class that you can get certified with Social Security, which is, I think, a very powerful tool. So without any further ado, I'm going to let them do the talking and talk about their platform and what they're doing and how that is going to help you. Mark, I'll let you take the floor. I'm going to bow to my video so that we can highlight you two. But I'll still be here as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity, Nathan, to talk to your reps. I'm Mark Kiner. It's me wearing the headsets. Jim Blair is in his turquoise shirt at the basement of his home. Hi, Jim.
Howdy.
So Nathan is right. Our company is called Premier Social Security Consulting. We provide Social Security consulting and education services to advisors and reps across the country. I'm a retired CPA. I sold my practice in 2012. I concentrate all my time on in the Social Security space, but not today. Today, I'm focusing my time on reconciling my bank statements because we have taxes that are due in 15 days, don't we, Jim?
That is true. So you might want to get those done, mate.
Yeah, today. Jim, talk about Jim worked for Social Security for 35 years. Talk about your time with the Social Security Administration, please.
Sure. As Mark said, 35 years. I retired, 12 years ago now. It's gone pretty fast. And while I was there, I did a number of jobs. Started off as a service representative, the smiling face you see when you walk in the front door, and did that for a number of years. They generally help people already receiving Social Security and they're having issues. Maybe they're overpaid, underpaid, maybe all sorts of things that could be going wrong. Help them with their Medicare claims, that type of thing. Moved into the claims taking part of it. Took claims for retirement, survivors, disability, and health insurance for 10 years. Moved into the management end of it, did a number of jobs there. but retired after 9 years as the district manager of the Piqua, Ohio office. Now, those of you who don't know, Piqua, Ohio, about 30 miles north of Dayton, nice little rural community. But that point being that wherever you are, there's a Social Security office fairly close, and it's probably the most accessible government office out there. They are currently open to the public. They were closed for about 2 years due to the pandemic, but they are now back open 5 days a week, just like they were before. So I think things are sort of getting back to normal.
Okay, folks, I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint here. Jim, can you see it okay?
I can see it just fine.
Okay.
I can see it as well.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it. So a little disclaimer here. Neither Premier Social Security Consulting, the National Social Security Association, or Jim or myself are associated with the Social Security Administration or any government agency. Presentation is purely for educational purposes. Every effort is taken to be certain that the PowerPoint and education are accurate. There might be places in the PowerPoint, and maybe we might misstate something from time to time, but not on purpose, of course. But that's not, I doubt that's really going to happen. But just we always have to read the disclaimer when we do a presentation. Jim, you were wrong one time, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I admitted to that. I thought I was wrong. I did find out later I was right, but at least I admitted it when I thought I was wrong. Now, don't ask my wife that. She'll tell you I'm wrong all the time, but so it's somewhere in there.
So we're catfishing you, folks. These pictures were taken over a decade ago. We had a lot more hair back then than we do now, Jim.
And that's pretty scary because I don't have much there either.
We focus on situational Social Security. Every one of your clients would be in a unique and different situation. So at the end of the day, our advisors that attend our class will understand the questions and issues that relate to all of their unique clients. We're going to give you some pointers now relating to some of these different situations. And as we go through the PowerPoint, we'll delve into it deeper as timing permits. So Jim, talk a little bit about the first 5, and I'll take the next 4, please.
Well, certainly single folks have options, maybe not as many as married folks or someone with a deceased spouse in their past, but a single individual still wants to determine and make a plan and decide when to start their Social Security benefits. Do they start at 62? Do they wait till full retirement age or even wait till age 70? They're going to file somewhere in that window. It's an 8-year window from 62 to 70. And somewhere in that spot, they're going to decide when they want to begin their benefits. If they're under full retirement age, things apply like the earnings test. If you're past full retirement age, you're earning delayed retirement credit. So different things factor in for them to look at. Married folks, now they have more options because they're looking at different things. First of all, they each have their own benefit to look at, and they're going to file in that same 8-year window from age 62 to 70. But they're also going to take into consideration perhaps survivor benefits. So if I take my benefits at 62 and my spouse is going to step into my shoes, what does that do to the survivor benefit? Well, it lowers it, just like it lowered my benefit. If I wait till 70, it increases it. What are the differences in the work histories between the two, and what are the benefit amounts? And maybe there's a spousal benefit that's payable too. And if there's what are the differences in their ages? If they're close in age, are they far apart in age? That may factor in as to when someone begins their benefits. So all sorts of things for them to consider. It's kind of skips down to number 5 already. But what if there's children involved? Because children are eligible not only when someone dies, but if they file for retirement or disability benefits. If you have a minor child, a child between 18 and 19 still in high school, or a child who becomes disabled before the age of 22, they can draw off of their parent's work record if that parent files for retirement or disability benefits. I think everybody is aware of the survivor benefit, but not everybody is aware of the fact that children are eligible when the parent files for their retirement benefits. Public employees, have their own issues, and it's going to lower the amount perhaps of their Social Security benefit. So when they look at their Social Security statement, that amount may not be correct. They may think they're going to receive a spouse or a survivor benefit. Their public employee pension can have an effect on that. So there's things that those folks need to take into consideration when they're planning. And then this one's going away, but it's not gone yet. And if you have clients that can take advantage of this, it's a great strategy. Get some payment while they're waiting to start their own Social Security. It's called restricted application. What that means is you file for benefits, but not on your own work record. You file on off of your spouse's work record and draw as a spouse. That way you can delay your own benefit. And then when you finally do switch over to your own, you get a higher monthly benefit amount. But in the meantime, you drew something. So we'll talk about the restricted application, what the requirements are and that type of thing. But a lot of folks who are eligible for this, they're certainly getting older, but it's still there. We've got about another year and a half of eligibility that we're looking at.
I'm gonna drop down to number 9 on this list. Full retirement age. Now that's the age you can collect 100% of your Social Security benefit. And that will range anywhere between age 66 and age 67. For clients you're meeting with this year that are turning 62 this year, that means you were born in 1960 and their full retirement age is age 67. So my full retirement age is age 66 in 4 months. I was born in 1956, which equates to June of this year. I actually began my Social Security benefits effective June of this year. That's my full retirement age. Nobody's going to collect off me when I'm gone. And so I just felt that I have really good uses for my Social Security benefits. So I started my benefits in the month that I attained my full retirement age. Let's go back to number 6. You may be dealing with ex-spouses. An ex-spouse is eligible to draw off of another ex-spouse if they were married for at least 10 years. If they've been divorced for less than 2 years, then the ex you want to claim off of must be receiving a benefit. And if you've been divorced for 2 years or longer, that requirement that your ex be receiving goes away. And what if you have more than one ex-spouse? You may have some options there as to which ex-spouse you want to claim off of. You may be dealing with surviving spouses, widows and widowers. If you were married to somebody just passed away, married to that person for at least 9 months, you can step into their shoes at your full retirement age. And it's also always possible that you may have more than one deceased spouse out there that you can claim benefits off of. You can't claim benefits off of more than one at a time, but you can pick and choose which one and quite possibly switch over time. There's an opportunity if you're over your full retirement age to go back 6 months and get a nice lump sum check. That 6-month window cannot precede your full retirement age. So if you like talking to a couple, husband and wife, let's say the husband is 68, wife is 67, you might suggest to the wife that she filed for benefits effective 6 months ago. And if the husband was born by that magic birth date of January 1st of 1954, he can file a restricted application, claim a benefit off her, and he can also go back 6 months. So if you're working with clients that are over full retirement age, there might be an opportunity to have them go back 6 months and get nice lump sum checks. It doesn't happen all the time, but with the situation warrants that possibility, you definitely want to bring it to your client's attention. We are contributing authors to this mammoth of a book, the 2022 Social Security Medicare Facts Book, published by the National Underwriter Company. 1,000 questions, almost 1,000 pages on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and related topics. It's a great resource that advisors should have on the desk. If they, as questions come up, they're not able to answer them, then they can go refer to this book and get the answers. With Jim and I, we're contributing authors. We're not the main authors. You know, you've got the holidays coming up, folks. You've got birthdays, Swedish Day. What better way to say I love you to your significant other than buying them the 2022 Social Security Medicare fax book? Jim, you've been married to your high school sweetheart Pat for 52 years. How many times have you bought her this book?
That would be zero. Might be one reason we made it 52 years. It can't be my charming personality, so it must be something. But no, sorry, zero.
I think it's your humor. That's why she's stuck with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask you about 5 to 7 questions. We call this test your knowledge. We just want you to start thinking about Social Security. Do not answer these questions. We just want you to. We want to get your Social Security juices flowing. Jim, go for it.
Yeah, these are questions we get all the time from advisors and from the general public. But how many years of earnings are included in a benefit calculation? Is it your last 3, 5, or 10 years? Could it be your best 3, 5, or 10 years? Is it your best 20 quarters, whatever the heck that is? Or could it be 35 years of earnings?
At a Super Bowl party, Harold told Darlene Snell from the Ozark Netflix series that she can claim benefits off her ex if married for 7 years. Is this advice correct? Be careful, Harold. Google how Jacob Snell passed away.
The provision impacting public employees who want benefits from their own government pension and Social Security benefits based off of their own work record. Are they going to be affected by the government pension offset, the windfall elimination provision, or the public employee Social Security benefit reduction?
Harold married Helen on the field prior to a Boston Red Sox baseball game 6 months ago. They're both age 62. Harold told Helen to file for benefits off her ex. Is this allowable?
The provision allowing an individual to file only for spousal benefits is known as 2 words.
We've already talked about it, so you should know the answer to that.
That is true.
Surviving spouses receive blank percent of a deceased spouse benefit at full benefit age, 25, 30, 75, or 100%.
What is the time limitation to pay back your Social Security benefit and withdraw your application? Do you have 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or maybe 6 years?
We're just going to do a few more questions, folks, not many more. Waiting beyond full retirement age to collect benefits will increase benefits by what annual percent? 3, 5, 8, 10, or 15?
When is an individual eligible for Social Security benefits if they turn 62 on June the 18th? Now, it's either going to be June or July.
Family maximum provision applies to ex-spouses. True or false?
What is the annual earnings test at age 64? And how much will Social Security withhold if you exceed that amount?
And finally, folks, Paul's PIA is 2,000. Mary's PIA is 1,500. What's her spousal benefit boost at age 63? How many of you knew the answers to all these questions? Jim, did you?
I did.
So did I. You'll know the answers to many of these questions by the time we're done today. Jim, talk briefly about the growth in the program, please. It's pretty big, isn't it?
Sure is. It's a huge program. Even I think for government standards, it's pretty high. When Social Security first started, first year payments were made was 1937. We had 52,000 beneficiaries, and they paid out about 1,278,000 in benefits. Excuse me. If we fast forward to just last year, we have 65 million beneficiaries, and they paid out over $1 trillion just in 2021. There's $1,133 billion and benefits were paid out. So it is a huge program. And you'll see that since the year 2000, the number of people has increased by about 20 million, but the amount of benefits paid out has way more than doubled. So the program is definitely growing.
Let's look at the bottom of this slide. Item A, She was the first recipient of a monthly benefit check. She began her benefits in January of 1940. She received $22.54 a month. She's my hero because she lived to the ripe old age of 100. So your first lesson of this hour is Social Security will pay you for as long as you're alive. They'll never call you up and say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, forgot their last name. Your account is down to zero and your benefits stop next month. Jim, what's the average death age?
Yeah, I just saw on TV today that the average death for the whole US dropped by a whole year. It's down in 76 something. And they were looking at 70 something last year. But if you can make it into your 60s, good news is I see that those are actually starting to increase again. So a male in his 60s, at least according to the Social Security Administration, has an average life expectancy of around age 84. A female in her 60s, around age 87. They tell us that half of the people in their 60s will live to their upper 80s, early 90s. A quarter of those folks are going to live to be 95 or older. They don't tell us which one of us those are. We got to figure that out on our own. But, you know, think about it. When people apply for benefits, if you apply at 62, you're going to receive benefits for 18 plus years, more than likely, maybe 20, 25, even 30 or 35 years. Because as Mark mentioned before, it is a lifetime benefit.
Now, this is my good friend Ethel. Picture on the left is Ethel on her 106th birthday drinking an alcoholic beverage. And the picture on the right is Ethel at age of 107. She's been receiving benefits for 40 years. Your clients may not end up being Ethel's. However, they may be receiving benefits for 10, 20, or 30 years. My dad received benefits for 27 years until he passed away back in 2020. Ethel will be 108 in November, just coming up. Goodbye, Ethel. Well, not goodbye, but see you later.
Yeah.
Jim, what's the COLA that we saw effective in January in 2022?
Well, we thought it was a big deal. Everybody thought it was a big
Yeah,
deal. It's
everybody did.
5.9%. You can see from what's on the screen that it hasn't been anywhere near 5.9. I think the closest we've gotten to that since 1982 was 2008, and it was 5.8%. But normally it's not that high. We thought it was a pretty big deal. And then what are we looking at this year? Well, maybe 8.5, maybe even a little higher. So it might dwarf last year's that everybody thought was a big deal.
Yeah, I'm projecting maybe 9 with the next we look at each month in the third quarter. And I think, Jim, the July figure was about 9.2% increase. So if it continues at that rate, we're going to say a 9.2% increase with the checks received in January 2024. I mean, 23, I should say. But inflation does seem to come down a touch, but still, it's going to be somewhere between 8 to 9%. There's no doubt about it. We look at the CPIW index. That's the Urban Wage Earners and Clerical Workers Index. Let's look at some claiming trends. 1996, 56% of men, 63% of women began benefits at age 62. Let's fast forward to 2019. You can see the percentages have come down quite a bit. 31% for men and 34% for women. Jim, bring out your cloudy crystal ball. What do these figures look like going into the future?
It is a bit cloudy, but it's funny. I talk to people all the time and I ask them, when do you want to retire? And most of them say, well, I want to retire today, but I can't afford it. So we think it'll stay about the same, especially for men. It may go down a wee bit, just a touch, but it's not going to go down much because if people can, they will take their benefit at the earlier point. Females, that they may increase a little bit, not much, but a wee bit. As folks learn about situational Social Security, then they're going to realize that while technically Social Security is a personal benefit, my benefit's mine, my spouse's is hers. we need to look at it as a household income. We also need to take into consideration the need for survivor benefits and how important Social Security is in that. So we may have a situation where a female may take her benefit a little bit earlier and her husband may delay a little bit to get a higher benefit, because if he's a higher earner, then if she survives him, and statistically she's expected to most of the time, then she would get a higher survivor benefit. So while it is a little cloudy, we don't know for sure. People fall all over the place.
And we don't mind if you ask us questions as we go along. So type it into the chat area and we'll answer your question for you. Jim, talk about some of the potential changes down the road we may see. We may see, because we know that the Social Security Trust Fund is due to be depleted by 2034 or 2035, and folks will see about a 21% haircut in their benefits. So, Jim, talk about just a few changes you think might happen to shore up the Social Security program.
Yeah, there's actually proposals that are made all the time. And one of the things that we see a lot would be folks raising the full retirement age. Currently caps out at 67, but it looks like eventually they're going to raise it to age 70. Now, it took 22 years to move it from 65 to 67, and I suspect to be something similar to that. And your clients, probably age 55 or older, are safe with their current full retirement age, wherever they're sitting at. But people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, you're probably looking at maybe age 70 is your full retirement age. That doesn't mean you can't take benefits still at 62, but it means that it's even more of a reduction if you do. So age 70 is probably going to be a done deal if when they ever get around to it. Another thing that they're looking at is also raising the amount that people pay Social Security tax on their wages. This year that caps out at $147,000, but they're talking about raising it to maybe $250,000, or something along the lines of, yeah, we'll still stop it at say $147,000, but then if your income's over $400,000, it kicks back in again. So it gives a little bit of leeway for the somewhat higher earners, but the folks with much higher earnings would pay in. And then the other side of that coin is they will means test it. So the tax you pay on income over the current level of cutoff, you'll pay the money in, but you won't get any use of that when we compute the benefit, because they do use your earnings to compute your benefit. That's why the amount of benefits increases all the time. But those folks, the higher earners, probably will see that form of means testing. So they'll still get something. It's just some of what they pay in won't be used to compute the benefit. Those are the two major things. Of course, if they raise the full retirement age to 70, that will eliminate the delayed retirement credits, that 8% a year increase you earn by waiting. There's talk of raising that to 72 or 74, but not many people wait till 70. So even fewer would wait beyond 70 to start their benefits.
Jim, I saw a proposal that's going through Congress now, or the House, I guess, to eliminate the taxation of benefits. That's not going to happen, Jim. There are only two ways to make the system more solvent. One, reduce benefits, and increase taxes. They're not going to take away taxes, unfortunately. So I don't see that happening. Anyway, how do you maximize your benefits? Number 6 on this list, the Smile. Oops. Wait a second.
That mic has been giving you lots of problems today. No,
No,
can't hear
nothing.
you, Mike.
Yeah, I lost my mic, my thing
There
for
you
a
go.
second there. Okay,
You're
I'm
back.
back. Sorry about that, folks. The smiling face is the local office. Jim Blair used to be a claims representative at the local office in Piqua, I guess, many, many years ago. They're basically just order takers. They'll take your application, but please don't expect any guidance or advice when you go down there to apply. Number one on this list, you need to help your clients to make a plan. Help them to make a plan to understand and to maximize their benefits. Social Security may be a joint lifetime benefit. Upon the passing of the husband, the wife will generally step in his shoes. If he took benefits early, that reduction may last 2 lifetimes. Whereby if he waits until age 70 or as late as he can, up to age 70, that increase may last 2 lifetimes also. We always want to maximize benefits for a family unit. The family unit is usually a husband and wife, or maybe sometimes you have to factor in some kids along the way, maybe the public employee, so forth and so on. Do not think inside the box. That's when you look at benefits at 3 different ages. 62, full retirement age, or age 70. Number 4, what does that stand for, Jim?
Situational Social Security.
Can your clients file that restricted application? Are your clients single, married? Are they survivors? Are their kids involved? Are your clients divorced? How do you coordinate spousal benefits? That's what we call thinking outside the box, and that's what we call situational Social Security. And we want to emphasize it's so important to understand how to ask those probing Social Security questions. If you ask the right questions, your clients will be really happy because then they can get more money out of the system. And please remember, more than 90% of all folks do not maximize their benefits. They have no clue what their options are. Jim, that restricted application is still available. Will you please explain that?
Yeah, it's going away, but hey, it's still there. We got about another year and a half worth till the end of next year, 2023. I guess a little less than a year and a
Yeah.
half. But the restricted application says that instead of filing on your own work record, you can file for benefits as a spouse or a ex-spouse and draw benefits while your own waits and grows 8% a year with delayed retirement credits. What you're doing is telling Social Security, don't pay me on my own, pay me as a spouse. Doesn't affect your spouse's benefit, but it does require that they be receiving a Social Security benefit. If they haven't filed yet, you can't file a restricted application. But what it does is it allows someone who's going to wait till age 70 to start their own. They're going to see a 32% increase in their Social Security benefit. Well, if you don't do anything, then until you're 70, you don't receive any monthly benefits. Under the restricted application, you file for and receive benefits off of your spouse's work record. So depending on their work history, it can be a substantial amount. It could be roughly up to somewhere between 1,250 and maybe even 1,500 a month. That's definitely the high end. Of course, it can be a lot lower too. It just depends on their work history. But if you're waiting till age 70 and you can draw off of your spouse, why not? It's as close to free money as you're ever going to get, which I guess is why they took it away from us.
Unfortunately, though, like Jim said, you have been born by that magic birth date of 1/1/54. Only about 20 to 25% of our clients can still file a restricted application. So it definitely is not in the majority. However, though, if you have clients that are born by that magic birthday of 1/1/54, then you definitely want to consider the restricted application. That's how they can get more money out of the Social Security system. Jim, how many folks have online accounts? It's pretty high, isn't it?
Pretty high. I thought it was around 70 million.
Yeah.
It's quite a few. And this is important. And I will suggest to any of you listening, if you haven't created this account, go to ssa.gov and create your account. It's important to have it. They used to mail these statements out every year. They stopped doing that 10 years ago. They mail them out supposedly to people age 60 or older that have not created an account. Some people get them, some people don't. If you create the account, you can look at the statement whenever you want. And there's a lot of other reasons to have it. If your clients are receiving Social Security, if they've created this statement, they can change their address, change their bank account, get a new Medicare card, get a benefit verification letter. If your clients haven't filed yet, they can get their statement and see, get an estimate of what their benefits are going to be. So it's real important for everybody, age 18 or older, to create this account.
Yeah, I know. Jim and I we created our accounts when this first became a possibility. Jim, if my recollection serves me well, that was May 1st of 2012.
Correct.
What? Okay, it does serve me well. Okay, fairly simple process to do. We do encourage all of you to create online accounts, because if you're going to file for benefits, that's how you're going to file online. In order to file online, you need to have an online account. I'm going to, folks, I need to bypass some of these slides because, we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it. Jim, how do we calculate benefits? How many years?
Well, is it the highest 3, 5, or 10? Heck no, it's your highest 35 years of indexed earnings. Now, what does that mean? Indexed earnings means that Social Security applies an inflation factor to your wages from that first job you ever had all the way up through the year you attain age 59. Starting with the year you turn age 60, they still use those in the calculation, but they just use what you actually earn. So the inflation factor gets added to your prior year's earnings, and then starting with age 60, it's your actual earnings. Then they're going to pick your high 35 years from that and divide that by 420. That's the same as 35 years and hit 12 months, because there's 420 months in 35 years. But that gives Social Security the AMI. What is an AMI? It's your average index monthly earnings. And that's what they're going to use to compute your benefit from. It's your average wage over your high 35 years of earnings adjusted for inflation. And they'll use that AMI to compute your benefit. So when you look at your Social Security statement and it says at full retirement age you get $2,600, that's based off of your AMI, which is based off of your high 35 years of earnings.
Highest 35 years, folks, of indexed earnings. The return on investment for paying FICA taxes, folks, is generally very low. So if your clients are continuing to work while they're collecting their benefits, or as they get later on in life, they're going to ask you a simple question: will they get a nice increase in their Social Security benefits? The answer to that will be probably not. Paying additional FICA taxes might result in some increase to your benefits, but the increase will be pretty nominal. And that's because we index earnings for inflation. So folks, $40,000 earned in 1985, indexed amount is about $120,000. Here's some benefit estimates. If you earn about $18,000 a year, your benefit will be a bit under $1,100 a month. $40,000 a year, almost $1,700 a month in benefits. And if you're earning $75,000 a year, your benefit would be about $2,600 a month. You can see the lower earner gets a higher percentage of the benefits back of their earnings back in Social Security benefits. 71% versus 41% for a higher income earner, which really does make a whole lot of sense. Jim, I have a question for you. If I take my benefits early, I take a 25% haircut. Does it go up when I reach my full retirement age to 100%?
It certainly does not. Once you take a reduced benefit, it is always reduced.
There's this nasty thing called the earnings test, isn't there, Jim?
Yes, everybody hates it, including the people at the Social Security office. This applies to someone who begins Social Security benefits. They are under their full retirement age and they are working. So if you have earned income, either through employment, working for someone, or you're self-employed, then that income can affect the amount of your Social Security benefit, because what they'll do this year, 2022, for if you earn over $19,560, they're going to hold back $1 of your benefits for every $2 you go over. The year you reach full retirement age, things change. First of all, the amount you're allowed to earn goes up, raises to $51,960. And if you exceed that amount, they'll hold back $1 benefits for every $3 you go over. The other is that the month you reach full retirement age, earnings test goes away. Regardless of what you earn, you can begin your Social Security benefits and you're not offset because of the earnings. Don't confuse this with taxes. A lot of people do. This is separate from taxes.
Yeah.
Now, Mark mentioned just a few minutes ago, if I take benefits at 62 and my benefits are reduced, do they increase when I reach full retirement age? And I said, no. There's always an exception to every rule, and this earnings test is that exception. So if someone begins benefits before their full retirement age and they have months withheld either fully or partially because of the earnings test, then those are called credit months. And what will happen is when they reach full retirement age, Social Security will determine the number of credit months and change the reduction of their benefit based on those credit months. So in a sense, you do get credit for the months you don't receive a check, and you will receive an increase in your monthly benefit amount. So over time, you get the money back they withheld, but it takes a while, but it is a permanent increase at that point.
And so that's one reason why I began my benefits in my full retirement age month, which is June of 2022, because that's when the earnings test goes away. And so I'm receiving my full benefit without having any issue with the amount of my earned income. All right, we're going to skip some of these slides. You just don't have a lot of time. So we want to, though, talk about some three-legged stools. We put together 4 three-legged stools to show some of the strategies that folks have. I'm going to talk about the three-legged stool for a married couple. We have one spouse waiting beyond full retirement age all the way up to age 70. Jim, Harold told me about 90% of folks wait to age 70 to begin their benefits. Is that kind of close?
Yeah, he's off just a hair. It's more somewhere between 7 to 5%.
Okay.
And
So
not 75, but 5 to 7%.
okay. So not many folks really wait to age 70, but
No.
your clients, that may be different. Your clients may be higher income, maybe they're in better health, and so maybe they are more likely to wait to age 70. Leg number 1 leads us into leg number 3, where we want to maximize the surviving spouse benefits for a married couple. And then leg number 2, we definitely want to coordinate spousal benefits. What you want to know here is that for a wife to collect off of a husband must be receiving his benefits. So if he waits to age 70, then the payment of a spousal benefit is delayed until he's age 70. If he's looking to collect off of his wife, then the wife has to turn her benefits on. So spousal benefit is only payable when the spouse you're looking to collect off of has already turned their benefits on. Also, if you've got a husband and wife wide apart in age, then the husband waiting to age 70 to maximize his benefits makes sense, because now we're maximizing a surviving spouse benefit. If they're closer in age, then that's not something you need to worry about. Maximizing surviving spouse benefits is not as important. And of course, sometimes you need to factor in some young kids. Maybe you've got one spouse that was born by that magic birth date of 1/1/54, and as a result can also file that restricted application.
Single folks also have options, as we talked about. They can file as early as age 62, wait till full retirement age, or even file at age 70 and earn those delayed retirement credits. They are subject to the earnings test. So if someone wants to file for benefits before full retirement age and still work, then if they earn over that $19,560, Social Security is going to withhold $1 of benefits for every 2 they go over. So it depends on how much they're earning as to whether or not it's worthwhile applying before full retirement age. The other thing is, keep in mind, when they pass benefits in, they're not looking at a survivor benefit for anybody. probably not any children's benefits for anybody. So do they want to wait till 70? Well, you know, if everybody in their family lives into their upper 90s, maybe, but nothing's guaranteed. So you never know for sure that you're going to live that long. And keep in mind, once you pass away, benefits will stop.
Divorce, folks, you can clock off your ex-spouse if ex-spouse is alive or deceased. If you've been divorced for less than, of course, you have been married to your ex for at least 10 years. But if you've been divorced for less than 2 years, your ex-spouse must be receiving a Social Security benefit for you to collect off your ex. And if you've been divorced for at least 2 years, that requirement will go away. Also, just one more comment on ex-spouses. If you were born by 1/1 of 54, you can file a restricted application, claim a benefit off your ex while your own benefits are earning those delayed retirement credits. And finally, folks, we're going to talk about surviving spouses.
They have some options here. And I used to say this is where Social Security did a great job. I can't say that anymore. Some studies have been made and they found that widows and widowers, they're being underpaid because Social Security is not explaining the options that they have. That upsets me. But hopefully then you guys will know about this and we'll make sure at least your clients don't fall into this. But a surviving spouse, or if you have a deceased spouse in your past, you can file for the widows and widowers benefits as early as age 60. You can receive that at a reduced rate or wait until your full benefit age, which is somewhere again between 66 and 67. You can take that benefit, say at age 60, and then switch to your own at 62, full retirement age or 70, as long as it's higher. Or you can take your own at 62 and file for the survivor benefit, say it's your full retirement, full benefit age. And while you took a reduced retirement benefit, because you're taking the survivor benefit at your full retirement age, it's not reduced, so you can receive the higher benefit. You are subject to the earnings test. Pretty much everyone is, everybody except those on disability. So if you're under full retirement age, that's going to factor in. But what this does, it allows someone to take a smaller benefit in the beginning to get a higher benefit later. And odds are that higher benefit is going to be the one they receive for a longer period of time. And it can be a sizable difference in the overall amount of money that person receives over their lifetime by taking advantage of these strategies. So Social Security is not, some still are, but overall Social Security is not doing a great job with this. Be aware of your clients with deceased spouses or a deceased ex-spouse in their past. And then we're talking about maybe survivor benefits versus their own benefit as strategies, as opposed to just filing on their own.
So you can see we've talked about many different types of situations already today. Single folks, married couples, divorced couples. We've talked about surviving spouses. We discussed what is somebody's full retirement age. We also discussed that there's an opportunity to claim 6 months worth of retroactive benefits. Social Security is not really a complicated program. It just takes a while to learn. When I met with Jim back in 2010, I knew nothing about Social Security. Jim's been very patient with me. I've done some reading, and now I can teach an 8-hour class on my own. So, and that's what we do. We do two things, the consulting, and we also do education. I don't really, folks, I really don't have any slides on this, so I'm just going to go kind of towards the end. But when you're meeting with a client, the questions come up about Social Security, and they're looking for a consultation. We can provide a consultation. Our fee is $550, and that's a package deal where Jim will provide a written report. We'll have your clients will have a consultation with Jim. Also, will help your clients file for benefits online. But we also educate advisors across the country on Social Security. We teach a 7-hour class. We emphasize situational Social Security and how to ask those probing Social Security questions. We offer our class 3 ways: live in person, live webinars, and taped on-demand videos. We'd like to see you at one of our upcoming classes: Boston, September 20th, and San Antonio, October 31st. If you're able to attend a class, that would be great. You can go to our website, which is Premier NSSA, to look or to find out more about the NSSA program and the classes that we teach. That's premiernssa.com. That's like Nancy Sam Apple. And the classes do include support, so you can call me with questions, email me with questions. You can access a monthly update webinars and also our Social Security open forums, which is similar to the Wild Wild West, where advisors ask us questions. And believe me, advisors really like that format, don't they, Jim?
Oh, yeah, I think it's real popular.
Definitely. I was going to say now, Nathan, I'd like to ask for questions at this point, because I know there's questions out there.
I was gonna say, we do have some time for some questions as anybody's thinking of those, because I know I have a few people on here that are also, in essence, distributors. So they work with a bunch of other agents. So one thing that I'll just say from that standpoint as well is that this is a resource that we're gonna push out. We'll put this on our YouTube channel because understanding Social Security and being able to have that conversation with the client is extremely important. And if you're deferring this out to somebody else, that means somebody else could be also talking to them about insurance or other things. So this is definitely a way to capture more dollars and keep the client to yourself. So I'll say a couple of things. The question that came through, David asked how much is this the certification, the 7-hour training?
Sure. Live webinars and taped on-demand videos are $795, and live in-person classes are $1,095. I will provide a discount, of course, to your reps out there, $200 off of a live in-person class and $100 off of a live webinar. And on demand, I'll just need to determine, Nathan, what the discount code will be. So you and I will need to communicate that. Maybe ACG.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, it can't be it for all three. But ACG would be the discount code for the on-demand videos and would be the discount code for live in-person classes. HCGW would be the discount code for the webinars. And
sounds good. We'll put that information together and send an email to everyone with the information.
Good
but
question.
That's Mark, really appreciate the discount. That's something that we're interested in passing off to everyone else. But yeah, I mean, as I will say, the amount of information, Mark and Jim, that you just shared, like there is a lot of great ideas, concepts, content that you can use in being able to have those conversations with your clients. So again, this is we'll have this on our YouTube channel. This is a great resource to be able to go back to. And I mean, I would love to bring Mark and Jim on another time and actually we'll do a big focus to get more people on and stuff like that. Because I know we have a semi-small crowd here today. But I really appreciate the time. I learned a bunch of things from this as well. I have clients that I still work with from my selling days. I haven't sold really much in the past 3 years, but my clients keep on getting older and older, and they start asking about Social Security. So being able to have a resource and someone that can have that conversation is extremely important. So within those two fields, again, one, leverage Mark and Jim's information. You can go to them and put together an actual report that looks amazing, have that consultation. So that's one area. Use their knowledge, or take the class and learn it for yourself. Take time to understand how you can do this and have that certification as well. And that's another important area. So those are kind of the two options that you have to be able to work with Mark and Jim, plus all the, all the events. And is there anything that they can do? Do you guys have any other plugins or resources?
The major resource we have is Jim and myself ask us questions and stuff and webinars. And also we do have relationships with a couple of the software tools developers where you'd be eligible for a discount. But the biggest resource though is the two of us.
Perfect. Well, we have just a couple more minutes. Does anyone else have any other questions before we let Mark and Jim ride off into the sunset?
Right off to my next Zoom.
Absolutely.
I can smell bacon. I'm riding off to lunch.
Well, me.
Oh,
yeah.
that sounds. I'm riding off to sushi actually after this.
Sounds good.
I had a comment. Just the NSA designation is the only Social Security designation recognized by FINRA. Is that-
I cannot answer that question. I really do not know. FINRA does not endorse or approve any designation. I need to let you know that, but we are recognized in their designation list. I do not know about other educational programs. I have not done that research.
Fair enough.
I'm going to say no, because I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, don't tell them I said that.
I was gonna say we'll take that off the recording.
Okay.
But it sounds like it because Kristen, I was taking I believe is taking your class actually. She seems pretty confident that it is. So maybe something to look into at some point.
Okay. Will do. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you taking our class.
absolutely.
Well, with that said, Mark and Jim, I really appreciate the time. It was an honor meeting you, Jim, and actually spending some time talking about Social Security. Like I said, we'd love to have you on again. We'll schedule that time in the future. And in the meantime, we'll get the resources out to everyone, and you guys both enjoy lunch.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Nathan.
Appreciate you
Appreciate-
having us on.
Yeah. Thank
All
you, Nathan, and everybody.
Sounds good. You all have a
Okay.
great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.